Thank you very much. One more question. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for talking to us. My question is, how did you get a job without UK work experience? You mentioned that you were doing a lot of other things on the side in the 1 year post graduation. So, did your work experience with JP Morgan count when you were trying to get a new job? And what exactly did these employers, the recruiters see? What have changed in your certifications for you to get 3 jobs in 2 weeks after waiting for a year without a job and applying everywhere?
That's a good question.
I like that question because I know the phase of your career you're in, and you're probably going to go through that experience very soon. Um, JP Morgan on my CV definitely helped. It helped me up to the point of recruiters noticing my CV. But once I get the interview, your experience kind of does not count. When you start your one-on-one dialogue at the interview, all your experience are, in my opinion, quite irrelevant. And in that moment, what's important is your personality, how engaging you are, how clearly you speak, how well-rounded personality you have. If you have any tricky questions, how do you perform under pressure? So these are the key aspects that you need to crack an interview. And your experience is more or less irrelevant in the interview itself. Uh, but having said that, to get to the interview stage, you do need something on your CV, and that's where some of the skill sets that I shared earlier with you guys will help. If you can get any internship programs before graduation, that will help. If you have any other experience, basically, that you can put in your CV, even if you worked at McDonald's, you should put that on your CV because recruiters like to see that you've worked, you've thrown yourself out in the world, and you've struggled, and you've done a 9 to 5 job, even if it's flipping burgers. They want to see that you have that mindset and you have that grit. So get out there and get any job, absolutely anything that you can find. Everything will help you to get where you want to be.
One question from online. Yeah, Fee? Is that you? Oh, sorry. Okay, yes.
Okay, so my question is, during one of those interview before, are there anything that you wish you could have done differently, and you could have learned so much from it that it could help you to get those interview? Are there anything that you most regret of?
It's
Gosh, that's going to be a very long list, because I think in my whole life, I must have done at least 150 interviews, I'm sure. I had 4 hours worth of interviews last week, but yeah. So I think one of the key learnings from all the interviews I've had is doing my research. There have been occasions where I haven't done enough research about the firm and about the person who is interviewing me, and it does come to bite you if you don't do your research thoroughly. Whenever you go into an interview, never underestimate it. Never underestimate the amount of preparation you need. Use each and every minute up until the point of interview to read about the company, about the job role. Uh, what I like to do is I take the job spec and I break down each and every point on the job spec, and I make my notes on what I know about that sentence, uh, how I can add value to that function, to that one single task. And I do that for each and every point. And at the end of my preparation, that one half page of job spec will turn into like a 3-page for me. So that's my little research and preparation process for the interview, and yeah, that would be my key uh, key advice to you guys, that do your research thoroughly. Do not wing it.
Sorry, can I?
question?
Yes, so there is one question online first.
Yeah.
Is that
Can
you?
I please follow up with her?
Oh, I'm sorry. We have a follow-up from the same one. Yeah, we'll come back. Okay,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, so when you mentioned about doing thorough research, next to it there would be like some kind of like soft skill interviewing questions or like break ice interview questions. Do you have any tips, especially for investment banking industry? So I kind of noticed that the style is quite different comparing to management consulting or like any other industry. So do you have any specific thing that you think we should practice on?
I think breaking the ice largely depends on the interviewer rather than the interviewee. Uh, I don't want you to kind of be funny or crack a joke in the interview to break ice. I'd say that, however, what you can do is tell a story about yourself. In most of the interviews, you will be asked this question: tell me about yourself. Now, you need to have a nice story about yourself ready for this question. Don't just ramble all the bullet points from your CV. I've got this degree, I've got this much experience, I've studied this, I've done that. Have a nice little story for them that I did my graduation from University of Mumbai. This was my experience. After studying, it led me into this area. I had campus recruitment, blah, blah, blah. So it need to flow like a story. And that will really capture the interviewer's attention. And once you start telling that story, you've got their attention. They're listening to you very carefully. And I think that is your breaking the ice moment once you've got their attention.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes. Oh, thank you for speaking to us today. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so my question is about researching the company. So when you mentioned that when you research, you have to research the company, you only focused on the job specification. But when you go to a company, they direct when you go for an interview, they direct this question to you, that why this company. So when you're researching a company based on why this company, what are the things that you would advise that would check, not just what basically you saw online? Like I would, if I want to go more in depth, like what would you advise?
Right. So that's a good question. Interviewers pretty much know that this is not the only job you've applied for. They know that you've been applying for tons of jobs, and if not this job, you'll be more than happy to work for any other company. They know that for fact. It's when they ask you why would you want to work for us, they just basically want to know if you're serious enough to have done the research about the company. They just like to hear what you've read about them, and if you've put in an effort for this job interview. That's what they're judging. You don't have to convince them that, oh, your company is the best and I've been waiting to work for your company forever. That's not what the aim of the question is, but it's purely to judge your determination to crack this job interview. Does that make sense?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And someone online